Tag, ding, ging, tom. Takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom. Takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom. Takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom. Takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom, takka dingin tom.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 8 of Talk 10 with Mahen. Today's episode is a celebration of a dynamic husband and wife team. I speak of the late Mrdhangam Vidwan, Sri Pregalathan Singaram, and his very talented wife, Shrimathi Yogambal Singaram. These two stalwarts have made an outstanding contribution to Indian music and dance in South Africa. And so with great pleasure, I lovingly welcome today Shrimathi Yogambal Singaram. Thank you so much for joining us today, Yogambal.
Thank you, Mahenthri, and welcome to you as well.
I know that Sri Pregalathan Singaram had significant collaborations with highly acclaimed Eastern and Western musicians. I read about his involvement in Rolling Rhythms Drum Festival. What was that festival and what did Sri Pregalathan do in that festival?
Okay, the Rolling Rhythms is a festival that took place every year. And the director of that festival was Mr. Dan Chiboli, and also a very great musician himself. Mr. Dan Chiboli and Pregalathan were very good friends because they often met at this French cafe on Friday afternoons. And they always chatted up music. And that is how the Rolling Rhythms began, by them talking about it in a cafe corner. This festival brought together many artists, mainly percussionists from all over the world. It used to take place at the Bat Center in Durban, and thereafter it moved to the Playhouse. This festival got really big, and it also went to Shangweni. And it was the most beautiful thing because at the Shangweni festival, they did it below the mountains. And all the artists sat underneath the mountains, no sound system, just the echoes of the mountain. And it was most amazing, and people around just sat and brayed. It was absolutely beautiful.
What a unique concept. I also read that Sri Pregalathan also formed his own percussion ensemble called Garland of Rhythm.
How this came about is the Natal Playhouse wanted him to perform something with ladies only. And he got together a group of girls that he was teaching, including my two daughters. One played the guttum and the other played the violin to lead the piece in. It was fully a ladies' ensemble. And they put this on for the Women's Day Festival at the Playhouse as the Garland of Rhythms.
Pregalathan was invited by a prestigious Dutch music group to the Netherlands. Can you tell us about that trip?
It's very interesting. That came about through the Rolling Rhythms. When these artists used to come to perform, they used to interact with each other. And when one of the artists went back to Amsterdam, they spoke about Pregalathan and these rhythms. The group was called the De Nazaten. Klaas Heckman was the leader of that group. He flew down in January of the year because the festival used to take place in July. He flew down and came and met Pregalathan, and they became friends, and Pregalathan used to travel yearly to Rotterdam. He went about 4 times to Rotterdam and performed all over Rotterdam and Amsterdam. And the last year that he went, he did lecture demonstrations at all the universities across Amsterdam.
Can you tell us about the TV program? It was called Headwrap.
There they were looking for people who played authentic music. And Pregalathan was, asked to perform on that Headwrap. It was very interesting. I think he was the only Indian percussionist on Headwrap. It was a beautiful program where they traced Pregalathan's life of how he started Mrdhangam and what did he start on, actually on a tabletop, because he could never afford a Mrdhangam at all. Mm-hmm. So much later, I think after matriculating, he was given a tabla by his dad for his birthday. And that is how he started on the tabla, played in the Sangam. And then later, Pakriya Pillay, was very good to him and sponsored his trip and gave him a Mrdhangam and did everything for him. He started proper Mrdhangam playing after matric. He didn't have the opportunity as a child. He just played on the table and listened to music and just tapped. He used to say he had an old radio and he used to tap on that radio. I think it's really God sent, what an experience that Pregalathan had. And I feel really, really honored to have been married to such a simple soul. For me, I don't know, he just filled my days. And it was just an amazing relationship that we had with great understanding, absolutely great understanding. And of course, my life is different now, but I'm lucky that I have two daughters that are amazing as well.
I want to compliment you because despite the fact that he has left us, you made every effort to never let go of whatever he had already built in terms of music and culture.
I need to just continue to celebrate his life. That's what I feel. It's not about me anymore. I still feel it's still about him. And I want to continue to bring him to the fore.
Yogambal, share with us, what was it like working together on music programs?
Mahenthri, I must tell you, it was the most difficult period. Pregalathan is a stickler for perfection. You cannot even go off half a beat. He would stop the rehearsal and he'll say, when you think you are more ready to perform and work with me, then come back. And it used to be difficult. Oh my God. I used to cry. The students used to cry. We used to have such a tough time during rehearsals. That was actually the only time we used to fight, was during rehearsals, because he would just not let us go, and he would say, okay, I'm creating this jati for you now. What can you do with it? I'll say, okay, give me some time. I'll put this together. He says, no. If you think you've gone and studied, you tell me you studied 13 years with Jay Lakshmi. So can't you just sit and put this together? I said, no, I'm not as good as you. For now, I could say I'm extremely grateful for all that scolding that I got. I'm not praising myself, but now when I sit and I work out jadis for students in their arangetrams, I'm actually able to do it. It just came to me, but I still think it's his higher power, Pregalathan, giving this to me. I still don't think it's me. And that rigorous training of talam structure that I had from Pregalathan, I think has helped me.
I'd like to talk about an excellent book written by Pregalathan.
This is the book. It's called Heartbeat of a Maestro. Okay. Interesting, I also got into the back of the book. When the girls were studying in Johannesburg, it was just the two of us. So every Saturday evenings, we used to go to CNA. Every Saturday evenings without fail. While sitting there one evening, he said to me, he says, look at this book and look at that book, and there's hardly anything, there's not much material in these books, but look there how they put out these books and it's so glorious covers and all. And I just said to him, Pregalathan, you are very capable of writing this book. He said, no, I'm telling you, you can write this book. He says, you think so? I said, yeah, you can write this book. So that same evening, he came home one evening and he sat at the dining table and he said, I'm just putting these jadis together. I'm remembering what you said. And he started putting things together. And over a period of 5 years, he sat trying to put this book together. You'll be amazed that his books are selling in India, in Carnatic Music Bookshop, and there's another one, Murali Bookstore. The one beautiful thing was 2 years ago, this book was in the entrance of the Music Academy, glass. And one of the artists that went took a picture, and she says she was so proud that there was a South African book in the glass at Music Academy. So we both went in there and we gave a copy to Music Academy.
Let's talk about your own performances. I know that you performed in Rotterdam as well.
That performance was done just with Pregalathan's Mrdhangam. Actually, he played a Mrdhangam piece, like a solo, and he created something for dance. It was very trying for me because his hand was moving so fast and the foot had to move exactly, otherwise you were in trouble. So he worked a lovely piece for 10 minutes, and I did a piece just on the Mrdhangam and performed this at the Finale Festival in Rotterdam. And it was quite well received, actually.
Remember, we will never forget the contribution of artists of the past. They have laid a strong foundation for the current generation of young musicians, artists, dancers, singers, a springboard from which they can soar.
Takata dingina tom, takata dingina tom, takata dingina tom. Takata dikidum, takata dikidum, takata dikidum, takata dikidum.